Good morning. Welcome to my YouTube channel, CV Study Circle. In this video, we discuss about answering the multiple choice questions. From this year onwards, the pattern of second year PUC economics question paper is changed. Instead of 1 mark questions, multiple choice questions are increased. There will be no 1 mark questions. To facilitate the students, to help the students, these multiple choice questions have been increased. ಮೊದಲು ಇತ್ತು ಈ ಬಹು ಆಯ್ಕೆಯ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳೇನಿದ್ದಾವೆ ಅವು ಮೊದಲು 5 ಅಂಕಗಳಿಗಿದ್ದು. ಈಗ ಅದನ್ನು 10 ಅಂಕಗಳಿಗೆ ವಿಸ್ತರಿಸಲಾಗಿದೆ. 1 ಅಂಕದ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ನೇರವಾದಂಥ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಹಾಕಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ದೊಡ್ಡದಾದ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. 48 ಅಂಕಗಳಿಗೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳೇನಿದ್ದಾವೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಒಂದು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್, ಎರಡನೇದು ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ದಿ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ಗೆ 10 ಅಂಕಗಳಿರ್ತವೆ, ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ದಿ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ಗೆ 5 ಅಂಕಗಳು. ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತವೆ, ಅವು 2 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿರ್ತವೆ, 1 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ 5 ಅಂಕಗಳು, 10. ಅನಂತರ ಫಿಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ 5 ಅಂಕಗಳು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ, ಅದು 9 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಉತ್ತರಿಸಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ 18 ಅಂಕಗಳಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ಇವುಗಳನ್ನೇ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ದಿ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಲೋ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಅಷ್ಟೇನು ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತರಲ್ಲದ ನಿಧಾನವಾಗಿ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಗಮನವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ದೆರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ 10 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್, ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್, ಬಹು ಆಯ್ಕೆಯ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು 10 ಅಂಕಗಳಿಗೆ 10 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು ಇರ್ತವೆ. ದೆರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ 4 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಈಚ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ and you have to select, you have to choose the best one, right? Some of the multiple choice questions are written on the board and I'll just explain it, how to answer it. ಕೆಲವು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಉತ್ತರಿಸೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅನಂತರ ಕೆಲವುಗಳನ್ನು ಓದ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದರೆ ದ ಥಿಯರಿ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ದಿ ಮಾರ್ಜಿನಲ್, the law of diminishing marginal utility, the cardinal approach, the ordinal approach, budget line, budget set, indifference curve, features of indifference curve, law of demand, movements along the demand curve, shifts of the demand curve, inferior goods, normal goods, substitutes, complementary goods, elasticity of demand, classifications of elasticity of demand. ಹೀಗೆ ಅನೇಕ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತವೆ. ರೈಟ್, ಯು ಆಲ್ ನೋ ಇಟ್. ಆನ್ ದಿ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್, ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ construed. Here, some of the multiple choice questions are written on the board. Let us see how to answer and get the marks, 10 marks very easily. There will be questions, 1 mark, that is multiple choice questions from this chapter. That is a theory of consumer behavior, and it's a big chapter, right? You may get 2 marks question or multiple choice questions or fill in the blanks, 2 marks questions, 4 marks questions, 6 marks questions. So you may get it, right? Let's see. Let's go to the first question, multiple choice question. Here, there is a concept, one utility. What is utility? Utility is nothing but want satisfying power of a commodity. ಒಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಬಯಕೆಯನ್ನ ಈಡೇರಿಸುವ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಸರಕಿನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಥವಾ ತುಷ್ಟಿಗುಣ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಈಸ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಸ್ತುನಿಷ್ಠವಾದ್ದು, ರಿಯಲ್ ಅಂತ. ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಮೈಂಡ್, ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಿಸಿದಂತ ವಿಚಾರ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ utility is subjective because it varies from person to person. A non-vegetarian finds more utility in meat. ಮಾಂಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ತುಷ್ಟಿಗುಣ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮಾಂಸಾಹಾರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅದೇ ವೆಜಿಟೇರಿಯನ್ doesn't find any utility. So utility is subjective. It is not objective. And even you see A and B, no. The answer is subjective. Utility is subjective. ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತ ವಿಚಾರ ತುಷ್ಟಿಗುಣ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? So the answer here is subjective. Utility is subjective. Coming to the second one, the shape of an indifference curve is normally. How is the shape of the indifference curve? See, this is the IC curve. IC curve is convex to the origin. So if it is like this, it is concave to the origin. IC curve, usually, what is the shape of the IC curve? It is convex to the origin. Let's see. The shape of an indifference curve is normally convex to the origin. It is not concave. It is not horizontal. Horizontal like that, it will be like this. Vertical, it will be like that. So what's the answer? Indifference curve is convex to the origin. Coming to the third question, the consumption bundles that are available depend on, see, color and shape, no, price and income and quality, and none. So these are the 4 answers. The consumption bundles, what is that? Budget line. Budget line refers to the combinations of different bundles of 2 goods which can be purchased by a consumer with his income at the existing price. ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವನ ಹತ್ರ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಆದಾಯದಿಂದ ಕೊಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದಾದಂತಹ 2 ಸರಕುಗಳ ಸಮೂಹವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬಜೆಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ it doesn't depend on color or shape or income and quality or none. So the answer is what that? Price and income. ಬೆಲೆ ಮತ್ತು ಆದಾಯ ಅವನು ಕೊಂಡುಕೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬಂಡಲ್ಸ್ ಅವಲಂಬಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತವೆ, ರೈಟ್? Coming to the fourth one, a vertical demand curve is, in the previous video, I have extensively explained the classifications of elasticity of demand. Perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, unitary elastic, ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅಂತ 5 ತರದ ವರ್ಗೀಕರಣ, ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವದ ವರ್ಗೀಕರಣ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, and this is inelastic, this is perfectly elastic, this is relatively elastic, this is relatively inelastic, this is unitary elastic. ಇವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದೇನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಎ ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್. ಇಟ್ ಶೋಸ್ PED is equal to 0. Here PED is infinite, right? PED is greater than 1, PED is lesser than 1, PED is equal to 1. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಬನ್ನಿ ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಎ ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಈಸ್ perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, unitary elastic, none of the above. The answer is this, perfectly elastic. Sorry, perfectly inelastic. Vertical line. So this is the vertical line. Whatever may be the changes in price, there will be no changes in demand. This is perfectly inelastic. Okay, coming to the fifth one. Ordinal utility analysis expresses utility in numbers, returns, ranks, and words. Cardinal utility analysis expresses utility in terms of cardinal numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. Whereas ordinal approach expresses utility in terms of ranks, not in terms of cardinal numbers. So ಅದರಿಂದ ಇದು ನಂಬರ್ಸು ಅಲ್ಲ, ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸು ಅಲ್ಲ, ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ, ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಪದಗಳಲ್ಲ. The answer is ranks. Utility is expressed in terms of ranks. Got it? So this is how you have to answer. Let's go to some more multiple choice questions from the chapter Theory of Consumer Behavior. The equation of budget line is ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. The equation of the budget line is, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, PX plus P1 X1 is equal to M is equal to PX plus PX, C P1 X1 plus P2 X2 is equal to M, D Y is equal to YX plus C. ಈ 4 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಬಜೆಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಸೆಟ್. The equation of budget set is PX X1, price of X1, P1 X1 plus P2 X2 is lesser than or equal to M ಅಂತ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆದರೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ the price of X1 and X2 must be equal to the income ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So P1 x1 plus P2 x2 is equal to M. Budget set ಅಲ್ಲಿ is lesser than or equals ಅಂತ M ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಜ್ಞಾಪ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So the answer for this, the equation of budget line is P1 x1 plus P2 x2 is equal to M. ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ ಯಾವುದೇ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಬಂದ್ರೂ ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನೇ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು next one, the demand for goods increases as income increases. The demand for the goods increases as income increases. That happens in case of inferior goods, given goods, normal goods, none of the above. Answer really, normal goods. As the income of the consumer increases, the demand for that commodity increases. But that doesn't happen in case of inferior goods or given goods. Right? ಯಾವ ಅನುಭೋಗಿ ಆದಾಯ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತದೋ ಅವನ ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಸರಕಿಗಾಗಿ ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ಅದು ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ಸಹಜವಾದಂತಹ ಸರಕು, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್. ಜ್ಞಾಪಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು another, total utility derived from consumption of commodity will begin to fall. Total utility ಏರ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. It goes on increasing at a decreasing rate, but it starts falling. ಯಾವಾಗ? When marginality, ನೋಡೋಣ, with every additional unit consumed, when the total utility curve becomes flat, when marginal utility starts falling, and when marginal utility becomes negative. Total utility, like, just understand this. This is total utility curve and this is marginal utility curve. Total utility curve starts falling when marginal utility becomes negative. Total utility will be maximum when marginal utility is 0. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, total utility derived from consumption of commodity will begin to fall when marginal utility becomes negative. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? ಓಕೆ. Coming to another question. Dash curve is a downward sloping cutting x-axis. Dash curve is a downward sloping curve cutting x-axis. So this is the downward sloping curve. It cuts x-axis. This is the marginal curve. ಮಾರ್ಜಿನಲ್ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಕರ್ವ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನೇನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ? ಮಾರ್ಜಿನಲ್ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಕರ್ವ್, ಬಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಕರ್ವ್, ಸಿ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಕರ್ವ್, ಸಿ ಬೋತ್, ಡಿ ಬೋತ್ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಬಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ? ಡ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕರ್ವ್ is a downward sloping curve cutting x-axis. That is marginal utility curve. Utility approach ಅನ್ನೋದು, it is option A, cardinal approach, option B, ordinal approach, option C, both A and B, it is both cardinal and ordinal, D, none of the above. So the answer is C, both A and B. Utility approach is studied under two heads. There are two approaches to study the utility approach. That is cardinal approach and ordinal approach. The ratio of exchange between two goods on an indifference curve analysis is shown by the ratio of exchange of one commodity for another commodity. That is called the substitution, right? When you are using two goods, you will just exchange one for another. This is shown by A, marginal rate of substitution, B, indifference curve, C, price line, D, income consumption. The answer is marginal rate of substitution. The rate at which substitution takes place, that is called marginal rate of substitution. Indifference curve is convex to the origin because of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. Okay, coming to another one. Indifference curve can be a straight line at. Indifference curve can be a straight line at A, constant marginal rate of substitution, increasing marginal rate of substitution, increasing returns to scale, none of the above. ಇಲ್ಲಿ indifference curve can be a straight line ಅಂತಾರೆ. It can be a straight line when increasing returns to scale, none of the above, constant marginal rate of substitution. Constant marginal rate of, it is like that. You should write. Higher indifference curve indicates, ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ, lower indifference curve, higher indifference curve. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡುವಾಗ higher indifference curve yields higher level of satisfaction, lower indifference curve yields lower level of satisfaction ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗಾಗಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. So higher indifference curve indicates A, higher level of satisfaction, B, higher cost, C, lower cost, D, lower level of satisfaction. The answer is higher level of satisfaction, right? Demand of a commodity depends on, ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತುವಿಗಾಗಿ ಇರುವ ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ಯಾವ ಅಂಶಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವಲಂಬಿತವಾಗಿರ್ತವೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೈಸ್, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಡಿ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಅಬೋವ್. ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿ, ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಅಬೋವ್. Coming to another question. Expansion and contraction in demand are caused by expansion, that is the movement along the demand curve ಅನ್ನುವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ವಿ. Expansion and contraction. Just see, this is the demand curve and this is the price and quantity demanded. If the price increases, contraction takes place. If the price falls, expansion takes place, right? If the price rises, and then here, expansion and contraction in demand are caused by change in income, change in taste and preference, see, change in price of the commodity, change in price of related good. The answer is change in price. Expansion and contraction are caused by change in price. ಅದನ್ನು ಬರೀಬೇಕು. The last one, Giffen paradox is an exception of ವಿರೋಧಾಭಾಸ. Giffen paradox ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯಾವುದರ ವಿರೋಧಾಭಾಸ, ಯಾವ ನಿಯಮದ? ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಎ ಲಾ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ ಲಾ ಆಫ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ law of production, option D law of utility. The answer is law of demand. What does law of demand say? When price rises, demand falls. But the same doesn't hold good in case of given goods. When the price rises, the demand did not fall. When the price fell down, the price did not go up. That was observed by Giffen. That went against the law of demand. Illi Giffen paradox is an exception of ಲಾ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ನೋ, ರೈಟ್? And there are other 3 to 4. In case of inferior goods like bajra, a fall in its price tends to make the demand remain constant, B, reduce the demand, increase the demand, change the demand in an abnormal way. So a fall in price, it will reduce the demand. That goes against the law of demand. The demand function of a product X is given as dx is equal to 30 minus 4p, where p is the price of product. The demanded price of rupees 4 will be, so will be A, option A 20, option B 12, option C 14, option D 10. That is option B is the right answer. If the price of sugar increases, the demand for the tea, if the price of sugar increases, the demand for tea ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. A decreases, B increases, C it will not be affected, D none of the above. When the price of sugar increases, the demand for complementary good, the price demand for tea will decrease, right? And the last one, if demand curve is parallel to x-axis, what will be the nature of elasticity? It is parallel to the x-axis. If it is like this, it is perfectly elastic. B, perfectly inelastic. C, elastic. D, unitary. The answer is perfectly elastic if it is horizontal or parallel. That's about multiple choice questions. Coming to fill in the blanks, that's another section. It carries 5 marks. Let's see. One satisfying capacity of a commodity is dash anta kodbirtane. One satisfying power of a commodity is utility. You know what is utility? Two indifference curves. Two indifference curves, that is IC1, IC2. Two indifference curves do not intersect. You have to write. Two indifference curves never intersect each other. Never intersect. Intersect and pada baribeku. Third one, as income increases, the demand curve for normal goods shifts towards rate. ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಬಲಗಡೆಗೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪಲ್ಲಟವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದರೆ ಎಡಗಡೆಗೆ ಪಲ್ಲಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಫೀರಿಯರ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್, ದ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ಸ್ leftward. Fourth one, the demand for a good moves in dash direction of its price. Moves in opposite direction. Both demand and price, according to the law of demand. What type of relationship is there between demand and price? There is inverse relationship. Both of them move in opposite direction. Okay, last one. Method of adding two individual demand curves. Market demand ಓದುವಾಗ ನಾವು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. So, method of adding two individual demand curves is called horizontal summation. Horizontal summation ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಜ್ಞಾಪ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸು, ಫಿಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಇದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ದಿ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ 2 marks questions. And even after that, let's go to practical oriented question. Right? Thank you very much.